Las opiniones vertidas en el siguiente programa son de exclusiva responsabilidad de quienes las emiten y no representan necesariamente el pensamiento o la línea editorial de esta emisora y su institución.
Experiencias académicas, culturales y personales compartidos por estudiantes internacionales en el TEC de Monterrey.
I like that.
Welcome to the space in which students from all over the world share their exchange experiences with us. Una visión única de quienes llegan a nuestro país y la travesía de los que se van en busca de una experiencia global. Esto es Global Connection con Carolina Alcántara. Iniciamos.
Welcome to Global Connection. I'm your host, Carolina Alcántara, International Programs Advisor, and I'm thrilled to have you join us. In this episode, we'll hear unique stories from exchange students visiting us from Slovenia and Russia, sharing their journey here in Mexico. All the way from Russia, we have Margarita Filimonova. Is that pronounced correctly?
It's close enough. Yeah.
Okay, tell me how it should be.
It's Filimonova.
Oh, no,
Margarita
it was not close enough at all.
Margarita should be easy.
Yeah, that one is like a kind of a Mexican, well, not a Mexican, but a Spanish name.
I wouldn't say so because I've met 3 Margaritas except for myself in my life, and they were all Russians. So it's a really common name in Russia, but I've never met anyone from outside of Russia who was named Margarita.
Well, in Mexico, I think if you stay long enough, you are going to find some Margaritas here. Well, at least a beverage. We have kind of that. And we have from Slovenia, Blas, Bresnik.
Close enough. No, it's Blaž.
Blaž.
Yeah, and Bresnik was okay, yeah.
Oh my God. No, you see, they're kind of, in the style, a little bit difficult, but I think it's also the way it's pronounced because the alphabet and everything kind of changes, right? Wow. Well, I tried my best, but welcome. Thank you for being here. We're really excited to have you. And how are you doing today?
We're doing great, honestly. We already had our Spanish class. So we just went out of our class and came straight here to have a conversation with you.
That's nice. You're gonna start telling a little bit about your Spanish class as well, if you want. How that experience has been in the episode, throughout the episode. So we're gonna start with today's episode. Stay tuned right here on Tech Sounds Radio, because this is Global Connection, where the world comes together.
Crónicas de un intercambio. La experiencia de vivir en México. Chronicles of an Exchange.
Well, in Chronicles of an Exchange, it's more about you telling your first impressions and how you have adapted to the life in Mexico. So that's overall, but you can start telling a little bit of where you're from, from with what part of your country you're from, what did you study, or what are you currently studying, and why did you decide to come to Mexico?
You can start. Yeah.
So I am originally from Russia. I was born in Russia, and I spent my childhood years and my teenage years in Russia. But when I turned 18, I moved to France to do my bachelor's studies. And during my studies in France, I went to Japan to do my exchange. And after my French university, I got enrolled into Slovak University to do my master's program. And there, I got offered to go to Mexico. And the minute I saw this offer, I clicked to apply right away, because I didn't hesitate a minute. Because throughout my international studies, I've met a lot of students from tech. They're mostly exchange students, and they always speak so much, and they're so excited about their home university. So you have a really good word spread around the whole world about tech. And when I saw that it was TEC de Monterrey itself, I knew I wanted to come. I was sure I had to go and check it out.
Wow, that's super nice. That actually, there's a bus.
Yeah, there is actually. Yeah.
Wow. What about you? I was gonna say Blas, but I know that's not how to pronounce it. Blas.
Try to remember. It's like when you blush in your cheeks when you're embarrassed. Yeah, exactly. That's
Blush?
way better. Yeah.
Ah, wow.
Yeah.
That's a good way to.
Okay. Yeah, usually it helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm from Slovenia. From Ljubljana, which is the capital. Usually, it's the only city people know from our country. and it helps because I'm from there. I did my bachelor's in mechanical engineering there. Then I moved to Denmark to do my master's in wind energy, and from there I got here to my exchange. And basically coming here was my only option for going to exchange, because first I applied to Argentina for the whole semester, but I was rejected because of my credits. Doesn't even matter. And they suggested me after that I could go to exchange, but it's only one option, and it's Monterrey in Mexico. And I said, sure, should be fine anyway. But it's my first time in Latin America, so it's really nice so far. I would stay longer. I wanted to go for the full semester, but I can't, so I'm leaving in less than 2 weeks.
But now that you are here, for example, what you heard from Tec de Monterrey, your expectations, did they met, or was it different?
Oh, it's way better than I expected, because I've never seen anything quite like this in my entire life. Like campus this big with all the facilities, gym with, I don't know, the rock climbing wall and the pool and their own radio station and the whole terrace with this view. I've never expected anything. And the classes, they're very nice, and it's my best experience so far. Out of all my international experiences, that's really the best. Yeah, I can say for sure that I'm now even talking to my program coordinators to extend it a bit, to do a semester maybe, or come next week, because I'm really enjoying it so much.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Because and you have been like in Japan, you were saying, right? And wow, like.
But nothing was quite like this. It's very different.
Yeah. And what about you, Blush?
You are getting somewhere. No, for me, Denmark also has a campus like that, but here it's really nice that, as I've met people here, all of you are kind of connected to tech. All of you are doing something with the tech, like you're organizing trips for us, you're working on a radio station, stuff like that, and it's really nice. I'm here only for 2 weeks, and I kind of feel part of the whole university, which is great, especially for somebody. Before I got here, I knew nobody here, and it's really nice. You feel part of something right away.
And when they told you, okay, your only option is Mexico, you
were
like,
great.
okay, let's go. Let's go with it. But now that you're here, you would say, was it a good choice that you ended up here?
I would do it again, and I would recommend it to anyone from Denmark. Let's do that. Yeah, you should do that. It's really nice.
And what do you think about the people in Mexico?
Oh, they're incredible.
Yes.
They're so open. They always just invite you everywhere. I chose as my extracurriculum class, reggaeton class. Oh, wow. And every week I go there, I have a lot of people approaching me and telling me, oh, you want to go out? We can show you around the city. There's people I've never met in my life. I don't know their names, but they just come up to me and they say, well, you don't look local. You want us to show you around and everything. It's really nice. I've never seen people being this open, just approaching you right away and inviting you to do something. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, same experience from my side. I would say people are really friendly here, really nice, really communicative. They talk to you, even it's obvious I'm not from here. I don't speak Spanish that well. I understand a little bit, but it's so nice to talk to people. They welcome you here, so it's a really good experience.
And what about your Spanish classes? How do you feel now that you can start maybe understanding the language, or you can also start speaking it a little bit?
For me, understanding, I would say it's quite okay. I understand, especially not the small talk, but when you go to the restaurant, you're kind of, you know what to expect when you get there. But it depends a little bit also on the accent. I've noticed if somebody is not from Mexico, or it's maybe Argentina or something like that, I have some troubles, but I'm getting somewhere. I think it's improving a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we're only 4 students in class, so it's a very small classroom, and we have a lot of attention from the teacher personally. And when our teacher, she sees what we're struggling with, she makes you practice that exact thing, and it's really nice. And both of us, we had some background already in Spanish, so nice. It's a bit more intermediate level. It's not, we're not learning basics. It's a bit more, a bit above.
Also, it helps. It's only, like you said, it's only 4 of us. you can't just be there and think about something else, but she's looking at you. She's like standing less than 1 meter away from you, so you're kind of scared to not pay attention.
Yeah, you cannot take
Even
out
though
your
she's really
phone.
nice, she's not scary or something like that. Just
Yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah,
common
you
courtesy.
cannot look around and
Yeah.
just be like in your phone for a
Yeah,
minute because the teacher is definitely gonna see you.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
It's like ignoring you here, like.
Yeah, definitely. It feels more like more pressure, right? To like try to
but
do
in a
your
very
best.
good way.
in a very good way.
Yeah.
For our listeners, they're studying in a winter program. The winter program lasts a month, so they're not gonna be for the full semester like usually the exchange students that come to the radio show. They are here for a semester, but in this case, as last episode, they're staying for the winter program that is like 4 weeks, right? So yeah, like a month basically. So I'm gonna tell, since we're in a radio show that is, it's spread across Mexico, I need to tell like a little bit about we're so far talking about in Spanish. So I'm gonna change for a bit, and then I'm gonna come back to English, okay?
Okay.
Bueno, para todos nuestros radio escuchas, pues estamos ahorita con Margarita y con Blash. Did I pronounce it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ellos, Margarita es de Rusia y Blas es de Eslovenia. Y ellos nos están contando un poco de su experiencia, que vienen de intercambio durante un mes en invierno y cómo se la están pasando acá. Ellos están estudiando español y también la materia de negocios. Y pues han dicho que les ha gustado mucho la experiencia. Hasta ahorita ha superado sus expectativas. Y pues no se olviden de que están escuchando Global Connection en Tech Sounds Radio.
A miles de kilómetros, descubriendo un mundo de posibilidades. Thousands of kilometers.
Well, now in 1,000 miles away, since you have told me that you have had several exchanges, usually a tech student is the one that tells their experience in the country. For example, if it was a tech student, they would be telling their experience in Russia or in Slovenia. But in this case, I want you to tell me your experience in Japan, in Spain, in Slovakia, also in Denmark. How has it been to study in a different country from your home country, and what made you do that, that decision?
So for me, my first experience abroad, it was France. I just turned 18, and the same month I moved to France, and it was my most complicated experience, I would say. I faced the most struggles because it was my first time ever being abroad. I struggled a lot with language, but I surrounded myself with people who would always come with me and help me out. So if I had to go to a bank, I had friends who would come and speak French for me to like bank worker, and throughout time I got used to it. And when I went to Japan, my next country was Japan, I didn't feel that it was a new environment for me because I was still mostly surrounded by international people. I felt like Japanese people, they didn't want to engage with us that much. They were pretty preserved. They had their own classes. They didn't interact with us much. So I was in a very international environment, so I didn't feel that much big of a difference between France and Japan. And moving to Slovakia, it was even easier for me because I had all this background already, and also it's more similar to my home country. Slovak culture and Russian culture, they have more in common than, for example, Japanese and Russian culture. And now Mexico, I had zero problems adapting here because I've been to Mexico before and I knew what to expect, and here it's just, for me, this is my easiest experience and the most pleasant one because here I haven't faced any struggles.
Where in Mexico did you came before?
Oh, I traveled a lot around and I spent 2 summers in Mexico City.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, and I travel like to Acapulco, to south, like Yucatan. I went to Puebla, to Culiacan. I've been like around.
Wow, yeah. I think you have been around more than a lot of Mexicans.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. No, why? What made you wanted to start like at 18? The experience.
I was taught from my childhood years, from my teenage years, by my parents that they wanted me to go abroad to get more international experience, because even if I don't stay in Europe, it's still nice to have this background. And if you have this French diploma, even in Russia, you have some advantage. So I'm really grateful to my parents for giving me this opportunity, and for they made me go to English classes since I was a kid, because in our at school they don't teach you much English. It's very, very basic. So they sent me to English classes since I was very little, and they were insisting on me going abroad. And I got to choose the country. I chose France myself, but they told me that you should go try something new.
It's always nice that your parents support you to
Yeah,
do that decision,
yeah, of course,
in a way. Because I think when you have that support, it's easier to move abroad, because
Yeah.
you always know that someone is back home looking out for you.
Yeah.
And what about you, Blaž?
So I went to Spain for 1 year on exchange after I finished my bachelor's, and I went with my really good friend, which is really easy, because you go somewhere, you go into an unknown, but you have somebody you can ask what is going on. So it's like a moral support for both of us, which made the whole experience a little bit easier. But after that, you meet so many people, it's really nice. You just kind of get used to meeting people, and it's nice. And then the second time I went to Denmark, I kind of knew what to expect. I knew what was I getting into. I knew how to do, how to move into another country, and I think it was easier. But again, like you said, most of the time I was hanging out with international students, especially in Spain, not with Spanish people because of the language barrier. In Denmark, I would say not that much, because they're really friendly and everything, but it's hard to get really close to them, I would say. For example, to Spanish people or to Mexican people, they invite you to their home right away. But in Denmark, it's we can go for a beer, but stay there.
Yeah, do you feel that that's how...
But they were still nice. They're not saying you shouldn't hang out with us, just
but they're more
let's
reserved,
keep a distance.
right?
Yeah, they're quite reserved.
I think they say that Danish tend to be the fun, the more outgoing from the Scandinavian countries, because they say for example, Swedish are a little bit more reserved. I don't know, from your experience, you feel are they a little bit more outgoing?
They are quite reserved. Yeah,
But still reserved.
In my experience, you have to ask them to know something about it. They are not gonna tell you on their own. For me, Spanish and Mexican people. Sorry. For me, Mexican and Spanish people, they'll tell you everything. I would say too much without you asking.
Too much.
Okay, let's not get that personal, but in Denmark and I guess Sweden as well, they're more reserved. You really have to ask good questions to get to know them. But it's nice to know different people, and it's after you've done let's say Spain and Denmark, it's really interesting. I would go to Japan right away just to see how much different can there be. So it's really nice, the whole experience of meeting international people.
I think because Mexicans, we're kind of an open book. We don't care,
exactly. Yeah,
we can be
back.
just doing these a podcast and my family, my friends. You can just say it I think, I mean, in a good. I think it's a good thing, because in a way we just wanna share. But maybe when you come from a different background, it's too much, because you're why you just know me from 2 weeks and you're telling me all of this information. But yeah, Mexicans are like that. But actually, I have heard that Russian people tend to be really similar to Mexicans. I don't know if that's true, but they say that the culture is kind of similar in some ways. Have you seen that?
I would say first of all, I'm really surprised that you're saying it, because the image of Russians in all the American movies or in pop culture, it's very cold, not smiling at all. But you're closer to truth. But you need to first get close with a Russian person, and after it's gonna be an open book, how you said. But I think first impression, it's gonna be very closed person, but maybe 1 hour into conversation and it's gonna be the same vibe, more or less.
Mexican, woo,
yeah, with a lot of gestures and very talkative, laughing, whatever. but we need some time, and you're open to everyone. Yeah.
I think it has also something to do maybe with the cold. Maybe like, or do you think or like the weather? I mean, maybe when it's more cold, you tend to be a little more reserved. But here we just go like, yeah, everything is warm. Let's go out.
I wouldn't say so. I don't really see the correlation, but I mean, in Russia, it still gets hot as well. Like, we have hot summers and everything. It's just
Really?
the stereotype that, yeah, of course, in St. Petersburg, summer is maybe 27, sometimes 30.
Oh wow!
It's pretty hot in summer, and the region where I was born, it's on the south, and it can get like up to 45 in summer. So we don't live in like
Yeah.
complete like frozen territory all the time.
That's a shock for me because I actually thought everything was like always freezing.
No, it's the winter, yeah.
Wow.
So when I was leaving Russia, now before coming to Mexico, it was minus 20 the same day I was leaving, but
Wow.
in summer it gets really hot.
So you get like super cold winters, but also like really hot
Yeah,
summers.
yeah, that's true.
Wow. And what about Slovakia? Is Slovenia?
Thank you.
I'm sorry. It's just like
it happens so many
my
times, and
cables
she's
like
studying
switched.
there, so
Yeah.
it's so confusing.
Yeah, I was. But is it just the weather sounds like it's also cold? But of course I'm not sure. I have
mean,
never been there.
It's colder than here, yes, but people. I met a couple of people here. Then I told them I'm from Slovenia, and they said, "Ooh, you're used to cold."
I get it all the time
That's
too.
the only thing you know about us. What? Well, it's colder than here, but it's not that cold, I guess. I mean, I would say in Russia it's colder.
Mm-hmm.
We get snow in the winter, but summers are still hot, like 35 degrees.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, for everyone that's hearing us, you know that Russia and Slovenia are also hot places that they're not all the time winter. Well, for me, that's nice. It's because sometimes I think we have the portrait of Hollywood movies and series, and we think like, okay, everything's cold over there, right? But
Since
then
you are talking about Hollywood movies and like stereotypes, before I got here, I imagined Mexico as yellow, like, and then I got here like, where's the yellow color now? So
with the,
I guess
the
it works
black and
both ways.
yeah. I think Hollywood portrays every country in a certain way, and everyone thinks like it's like that.
Only that, nothing else. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't thought that maybe you're gonna arrive and people are gonna be with sombrero, it's like mariachi. Yeah. I think, and because actually a lot of people think that that's like the typical Mexican, but it's actually, I think it's quite common because it's what you see in movies, and it's like, because if you don't know people from there, that's the nearest approach that you have to the culture.
Yeah, and also in Russia, and I've seen it in Europe a lot as well. A lot of like fast food places or restaurants now, they introduce Mexican menu, and they just add like sombreros and maracas on the like poster, and they put inside your wrap in KFC, they put some beans and corn, and they call it like special Mexican menu. And well, yeah, talking about stereotypes, we're really, really guilty about that.
I think everyone's guilty about that.
But that's one of the good things going on exchange or to the other universities, because you actually meet people from other countries, and then you see, okay, it's not only yellow color in Mexico, it's not only snow and Siberia in Russia, so stuff like that. It's not only snakes and spiders in Australia, because we have 3 Australian classmates here. And yeah, it's really nice, just because of that. You actually know more about them and their countries.
And that actually opens your possibilities, because sometimes maybe you would say I wouldn't go because I'm scared of spiders to Australia, right? But then they talk like the spiders don't even like kill people, so no worries, you can go there and nothing's gonna happen to you. So
Yes.
like
The last time one of the guests said snakes don't kill anyone in Australia. We checked that it's not true. So, just anyone who is afraid of snakes, maybe just be careful anyway.
well, but I think as long as they're in the city, if they don't like go maybe to like a rural
I don't know.
area, I don't know.
I've never been there, so I have no idea.
But maybe in a couple of months, you're gonna visit your friends in Australia and you're gonna see it for yourself.
That's also true. Like, because now I know somebody from Australia, there's more chance that I would actually go there at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, but you see, we're 20 minutes into this conversation, and you already know that Russia is not cold, that Slovenia gets hot, and we know that Mexico is not yellow. And imagine if you're in a class with 60 people and everyone comes from different countries. Imagine spending a semester in that environment.
Yeah.
You learn so much. It's just unbelievable. That's the only way for me to learn, like actually learn. Classes, they don't matter to me that much. What I actually get from all these experiences, all these that we're learning now just in 20 minutes. But
yeah, like the people, the connections you make. And I think they're pretty unique because when you're in an exchange, you like, I think we have like some filters, but we have to drop certain filters in the exchange, so we open up more easily to get to know other people, and other people do the same. So I think that makes also connections more easier. And I don't know, that's how I feel, but I don't know, you will tell me how you feel about that.
Maybe this one no, because you're only here for 1 month, so you kind of have to skip the being shy step because we don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Maybe if you were here for like 5 months or maybe 10 months, yes, but now it's only 1 month. If you're shy for 1 month, then what's the point?
Bye.
So yeah.
And also because we're a very little group, we're 8 people overall in class, we don't have a chance to be selective. Oh, I'm gonna just hang out with people from similar country or something. No, it's 8 of us all the time together. Wherever we go, it's just the 8 of us, and it's people from Australia, from South Korea, from the US, from Russia, from Slovenia, and we're all together all the time. And we don't have a chance to choose who you're gonna hang out with because we're just 8 and we're always together.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
Something you need to give yourself the opportunity to hang out with people maybe you will not regularly hang out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it gives you also a different opportunity, as you say, because sometimes I think what happens in exchange regularly is that people look for, for example, Spanish people tend to go with Spanish people.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
In Denmark, they are called Spanish Mafia because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get in them, like not in them, just hang out with them because they only speak Spanish. And
yeah, they often that happens here in Mexico as well. And I mean, also they tend to like get along with certain Mexicans, so they make their gang. And also it happens with Italians, but it also depends with the person, like, because I think at the end sometimes, even though they're from similar nationalities, they make groups from all over the world. But I mean, in a semester there are around 400 or 250 students. So yeah, the dynamic must be pretty different from what you're having right now. Mm-hmm. Bueno, pues estábamos ahorita platicando un poco de su experiencia de intercambio con 2 alumnos que vienen, Margarita, por ejemplo, ella viene de Rusia, y Blaž viene de... I pronounced it correctly.
Yeah.
Y Blaž, él viene de Eslovenia. Entonces nos están contando un poquito de lo que han hecho en sus intercambios y cómo esto les ha ayudado. Recuerden que están escuchando Go Connection, también estamos en YouTube, ahí nos pueden ver, les mandamos saludos y regresamos, vamos a un corte comercial. Están escuchando Tech Sounds Radio.
Sigue aquí, en un momento regresamos. XHTEC 94.9 FM, la plataforma radiofónica de comunicación y divulgación del TEC en Monterrey. Tech Sounds Radio, tecnológico de Monterrey.
No te pierdas la oportunidad de ser parte de la IFE Conference 2025, un evento que reúne líderes de innovación educativa a través de conferencias magistrales, paneles, eventos híbridos, networking y mucho más. 3 días con más de 250 actividades destinadas al aprendizaje, colaboración e innovación. IFE Conference 2025, del 28 al 30 de enero en el TEC de Monterrey, Campus Monterrey. Regístrate ahora en ifeconference.tec.mx y únete a esta experiencia única. IFE Conference 2025, impulsando el futuro de la educación con innovación y tecnologías.
El fentanilo destruye tu cuerpo. El ejercicio te hace fuerte. El fentanilo te engancha desde la primera vez. Las verdaderas amistades te cuidan. El fentanilo te mata. Una familia unida te da vida. Aléjate de las drogas. Les ponen fentanilo para hacerlas más adictivas. Elige ser feliz. Si necesitas ayuda, llama a la línea de la vida, 800-911-2000. Gobierno de México.
Economía, política, negocios. Tech Sounds Radio 94.9 FM, la emisora de radio del TEC de Monterrey. Retomamos el control. Ponte cómodo. Continuamos. El desafío, la integración cultural, The Challenge.
Well, we continue with the challenge, and in this session, we're gonna discuss like cultural differences and the impact that Tec de Monterrey has had on your exchanges, for instance, and you can also include like challenges that you have had in your past exchanges, if you wanna tell a little story about that.
Okay, so here in tech, the biggest challenge the first thing that comes to my mind, it's the cultural difference that I can't get used to it. So first of all, when people invite you somewhere, it doesn't mean that they will actually go hang out with you. So for example, in my reggaeton class, sometimes girls like approach me and say, oh, this weekend we should totally hang out. But that doesn't count as an invitation. But to me, if somebody said this Saturday we should go out, I don't make any plans because to me this is a plan already. But here it's just being nice, being polite. And what's even more important to me, it's a problem with timing. Because if I get invited to a party at 6, expect me at 6:02 at your doorstep knocking on your door. Because you said 6, okay, I'm going to give you 2 minutes. And at 6:02, I'm going to be there just to be polite. But here, I show up to people's places and they're still wearing their pajamas. And okay, but... yeah, you can come in, probably. But that's a very big cultural difference that I really cannot get used to. Even after coming to Mexico many times, it's still my biggest pain. Because still, if you tell me at 6 we're meeting, I'll be there 6:02, on point.
Yeah.
But here, it can mean from 7 to 10. Yeah. If they tell you at 6, it's somewhere from 7 to 10.
Yeah, I would say if they tell at 6, you should be arriving around 9.
Yeah, you see, exactly.
And you don't even feel guilty about that. That's the worst part.
Yeah, exactly. You see?
Yeah, we said 6. No.
Yeah, but you can expect me already at your doorstep at this time at 6. I'm there.
Yeah, it's something weird because I think we just put like an hour, but everyone knows like, okay, that hour's not gonna be, it's 2 hours more. And it's actually really like, maybe it's even unpolite to be on time because you're and the person is like, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you gonna help me set up?
It's impolite to be on time. Don't put this on us.
Yeah, but I think it's Mexican time. We say that.
Yeah, we started saying that too.
Yeah, it's.
You have to specify which like time zone you're speaking.
Yeah.
Mexican
time. But you know, exchange students that stay for a semester, they then sometimes get really used to Mexican time. It's funny because you're like, oh, I said 6, no, but it's like being there at 8:30 or 9. Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I would say the biggest difference was just the campus is kind of separated from everything else. There's like an actual limit between campus and like outside of campus, and I'm not used to that. Especially in Slovenia, we don't even have campus. Like faculties are just like spread around the city. So, but in Denmark, there is a campus, but it's just kind of part of the city. It's not like separated like here. There's no like security around the campus, no fence around the campus. So that was the biggest surprise. Also, the residence here, it's quite strict, like with the whole reception and like visitors and stuff like that. In Denmark, it's okay. And in Slovenia, it's also, I never lived in student dorm in Slovenia because I'm from the same city as my university was in. So I don't know much about that, but in Denmark, it's really loose. There's a dorm, you can just do whatever you want. Just don't have pets and I think that's the only restriction. I think that's it.
I think it's because here dorms are more like a place where, since a lot of parents send their children from all over Mexico to this campus, it's like a place where they know they're gonna be safe and someone's gonna be taking care of them. So you might feel like some rooms are like parent rules, like certain like don't bring alcohol in, or you cannot bring certain like male and female are separated. So I think it's more about like that way, because it's like your parents are still there watching you in a way.
Yeah, it's also weird because they're cleaning our rooms. It should be my room. Just don't touch it. I have my own stuff. Just get out, please.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
because I'm staying outside of the residence, and I didn't know you had cleaning.
Yeah, they clean it every now and then. I don't know when. Just sometimes I get back.
Can you tell them don't do that? I wouldn't feel comfortable.
Yeah, I'm not okay with that.
Walking into the room and cleaning.
I mean, it's nice that they're cleaning. It feels like home again, but just come on, I have my stuff there. Just.
Yeah, it actually is. I think sometimes it's like kind of like a hotel, In a way,
yeah, it's more like a hotel than actually my own room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I don't know when they're cleaning, but I was never in the room while they were cleaning, so I don't know if you can say no.
Okay.
I think if you go to reception, you can. Yeah, but I think most people. I think no one has ever told them like.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think also they don't have the things for cleaning.
No, we don't have anything. I mean,
so
I'm not sure about the other Mexican students here, but we have nothing.
Yeah.
Not even the
And for
pens
a
and
month,
pots.
it's just like-
I'm not buying that now.
You're gonna tell the cleaning lady, okay, leave me the stuff. I clean.
Pick it up at 6. Yeah.
And what do you feel about the weather now? Because I think it has. Well, maybe from my perception, it's colder than someone would expect from Mexico. But what you would say?
For me, the most shocking thing is how different the weather can be from one day to another.
Yeah.
So yesterday at night it was -4. Today during the day I can just wear a sweater and I'll be fine. And this weekend it's going to be 27, I saw.
Yeah.
And it's just confusing to me how in 1 week you can have all seasons.
Yeah.
So, okay, maybe not in Russia, but when I was living in France, -4 was the lowest and 30 was more or less the highest. So you have whole year range of temperatures just in 1 week, and that's the most confusing to me.
Welcome to Monterrey.
Is that a regular thing or is
Yeah.
it some anomaly?
No, it's regular.
normal,
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's because we're in a valley.
Yeah.
There's a joke, but I mean, it says a bad word, but it says like Monterrey has the most stable weather. It's always bad word. I will need to say it like out of the radio because I don't think it's
Okay.
proper, but it says like it's always like a bad word because they say it's always stable because it's always the same in terms of that bad word. But yeah, I think if someone hears, maybe they can know, but I don't want to give the word away. But it's yeah, the weather in Monterrey, it's always unpredictable. You might see the weather channel and it might say like, okay, it's gonna be cold, but then it's hot and there's rain and there's like the sun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Monterrey. They say it's like a bipolar climate as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we also have, like in Ljubljana, there's also quite like bipolar, as you're saying. So I'm not that surprised by that, but I expected warmer weather. When you say somebody, let's say at home, I'm going to Mexico, yeah, you just imagine like Cancun, like 30, 40 degrees, everyone in shorts and t-shirts, like not, I have to wear my jacket here, like, why, what is going on?
Are you actually in Mexico, maybe?
Yeah. Nobody actually believes me when I tell. Yesterday it was like kind of snowing, not really.
Uh-huh.
And then, like, I told my mom, like, it was snowing. She said, no. Okay, then it didn't snow, okay. But yeah, in Denmark, weather is just boring. It's always just gray, so at least something is going on in that regard. In Denmark, it's always windy, which is annoying.
Really?
And it's
Wow.
always gray. And also, like, the days are so short in the winter. Like, they end, like, at 3 or 4 p.m. It's already dark, so... And it gets to you after a couple of months.
Yeah, you need like that vitamin D.
Yeah.
It's same in St. Petersburg. In summer we have what's called white nights, so
But
the
that's
sun
so
doesn't
good.
go down at all. You have like the darkest it gets maybe at 1 a.m., but it's still not night. It's just like looks like sunset more or less. But in winter, We have like 4 hours of daylight.
Oh, and it gets
That's awful.
It really gets depressing.
I just get I go
Because-
into hibernation in winter. I just take my naps every time I go back from school when I'm in Russia.
You wanna go to sleep, say okay, it's getting late. You wanna go to sleep, and then you check, and it's 6 p.m. Like, oh, no, I can't go. Just what should I do now?
And it's cold, so I think when it's cold, it's like you don't want to do anything, like because it's like going outside, it's cold.
Yeah,
like,
it's cold, it's windy, it's raining, it's just,
like come to Mexico. Maybe the weather is bipolar, but there's a lot of sun.
Yeah.
Well, you're here in Global Connection, and stay tuned. We're passing to another one.
Impacto positivo. Resultados de una experiencia académica. Positive impacts.
Well, finally, in Positive Impact is more about, as it says, like positive impact, how your exchanges, like these experiences, have helped you and like impact your life.
You can go first. I still have to think about it.
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
How your exchanges have impacted your life? Like, what's the positive things that you can take from them?
For sure, it's first of all, it helps you to grow up because you learn how to be on your own all the time. You cannot depend on other people. You have to know how to be on your own, how to take care of yourself. And that's a huge point of growth, like personally for me at least. And also, all my exchanges, it helped me to surround myself with people who are always like ready to help. So wherever I go, I make friends and I stay really close with those friends. And I know now that for sure if I go back to France, I have friends who will always, they can host me, or if I'm searching for a job, they will put some effort to help me find it. Here in Mexico, I have some really close people who will always help me. And I know for sure that these people, they will always be around. And just meeting new people, you just have more chance to meet people here. And like if you just stay in your country and you're always surrounded by the same people, same culture, it's not quite the same. And exposing yourself to different cultures, to different people, it really helps to expand your circle.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, you have to go out of your comfort zone, especially if you're from a country like me, which is not the biggest one, and you're not going to meet 15 Slovenians here. So you have to speak another language, you're meeting other cultures, so it's really nice. And then because of that, you can travel to new countries that maybe you would never go because you have no idea what's going on in there. But now you know people from there, and then you say, okay, they're really nice, they said I should come. They're inviting me, they're hosting me, so yes, of course I'm going there, just because of them, to see them again and to experience new countries. So I would say that's the biggest plus of going on exchange.
Yeah, and I also wanted to add, here we have a class, and I'm really grateful for that class. It's called Doing Business in Mexico, but it's like all the business subjects put in one class and applied to setting of Mexico. And we had a class last week where we're talking about it's called Hofstede's Dimensions. You compare countries and you evaluate them to see the cultures. For example, is your country individualistic or collectivistic? Is it more focused on making connections or achieving goals? And because we're all from different countries, everyone can share their experiences. And you cannot learn them from books. There is no way you can ever learn this from books, because we take a concept from a book and everyone says how it applies to their country and not how in theory it would apply. They just say, I see it this way. And you cannot read it anywhere. It's just only meeting people that allows you to learn that much.
That's super interesting,
Yeah.
because I think it's something quite unique that you wouldn't be able, as you said, like in books, maybe there's people that know about that, but it's not updated.
Yeah.
And they're not going to write it the same way as someone is from that country is telling you that story.
Especially the professor is really nice because he's honest
Yeah.
about Mexico. He said, I love Mexico, but... And then And it's really nice. We're not pretending. Nobody is saying, "Oh, we are the best country ever." Like, okay, yes, maybe, but everything has like pluses and minuses, so that's really nice. And also Spanish class, we are talking about a lot about different cultures and how do you do that? How do you do that? Is that normal that you're late for us? For you, yes. For us, maybe less. So both of our classes here are kind of forcing us to learn more about the differences here.
Yeah, like adapting to a new culture, and I mean, I think it's also giving you, making you more tolerant to things that you're not used to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's for sure.
But it really helps that we are a small class.
Yeah.
They'd say if there was like 60, 70 of us, it's impossible to do that. To ask everyone, what do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, you have
It's
to
too
be
much.
very open-minded. You need to let go of your like some biases, prejudices, whatever. You need to actually listen to people and understand them, and it really helps. I really find that really useful and helpful.
I'm gonna tell a little bit about the wrap up. Okay,
Yeah.
what you're telling in Spanish, okay? Bueno, ahorita nos están comentando pues un poquito de lo que se llevan de su intercambio, o sea que al final es algo que les ha ayudado a pues aprender de diferentes costumbres que tenemos. Por ejemplo, en México no estamos acostumbrados a decir que a las 6 llegamos a un lugar y realmente pues ese no es el horario que es, llegamos prácticamente hasta las 8 y pues para ellos es algo difícil comprender, pero pues al final son cosas que al estar aquí en México les da el entendimiento para tolerar y también aprender de diferentes culturas. Por ejemplo, en la clase que tienen de haciendo negocios en México, tienen la oportunidad de hablar con todos los demás estudiantes de diferentes ciudades y eso les ayuda a expandir su conocimiento y darse cuenta cómo aplica no nada más en México, sino también en sus países de origen. Así que quédense con nosotros, están escuchando Global Connection.
Resumen. Summary.
Well, now it's the closing time and the summary. But I wanted to ask you, if you could say something from your country that people should try if they go visit your country, what should it be? Or something from like food that they should try, or an experience that they need to have.
Oh, I would say for sure you should go to St. Petersburg in summer. So it's my home city. From St. Petersburg. You should go there in summer because it's very beautiful, and we have this festival. It's called like Scarlet Sails. It's every year you have this event for graduates, for high school graduates, and they pass a huge ship with like scarlet red sails, and it's very beautiful. It's an experience. I've never seen anything like that in my life. It's really beautiful. It's the huge river and the boat, and it's just very, very beautiful, and you should see that at least once in your life. So it's it's around 24th of June normally. It can change like a few days, but it's normally around end of June, and you should totally come.
Yeah. It sounds interesting.
Yeah.
For us, we are already really known for hiking and rivers and lakes and mountains. So yes, they're really amazing, even though I don't like hiking that much. But still, that one. And also, like different wines and wineries, I would really go for that one because we have so many of them. And if you go to different, like, how is it called, winery? Yeah.
Sí.
They give you the whole show of how they make them, what's the difference between one and another, like the white wines, the red wines. It's really nice to learn a little bit about that. So I'd say that.
Yeah. And what would you say that in Mexico, someone from your country or from a person that's coming to Mexico to study abroad or visiting, they should do or try to eat?
Something that they should do. I'm sorry to all the people from Monterrey, but I'm genuinely in love with Mexico City. And just going outside at night, just like to stroll through neighborhoods, it's the best I've ever experienced because it's always loud. It's always alive. You go out at 3 at 4 a.m. and there are taco stands with music blasting, and there are always people just dancing, talking, connecting. This is the whole nature of Mexico to me personally, and for me it's all concentrated in those streets, like with night taco stands and with all that music. That's for me the concentration of the whole culture, how I see it.
Yeah, I would also say something like that, just kind of drop the stereotypes. It's not yellow and dangerous here, so just leave that at home and try to enjoy it. Meet some Mexican people, they will welcome you anyway, and just spend time with them and they will give you the best time. So.
Well, if you and lastly, what would you say is, if you could make a summary, but with just one word of your experience here in Mexico, what that word would be?
I don't know, the first word that just very, very like the first word that was colorful, because there's always like, I don't know, it's just so full of like bright colors, but not in terms of, oh, it's all so nice and pretty. No, just like the memories and the emotions. It's so like bright, so colorful, so different. Like the diversity, not just culturally because we're from different countries, but even Mexico itself, there is a lot of diversity just in one country itself.
Yeah.
Can I just say a lot? Like, there's so much going on here. So in all aspects, I guess, you can go out, you can go to the hikes, like we went to on Saturday. You can visit different cities. You have different cities by the sea, like actually 2 oceans. So it's every day you can do something else.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you for inviting us.
No, it was great having you, because you're the first ones from Slovenia and from Russia, you know. I said it correctly, Slovenia. No, because I was at first. The thing is that in where I see like your names and where you're from, it says that it says from what university you come from.
Yeah,
it was like it was your nationality, not like your actual nationality. But it was good to know that you're not Danish nor Slovakian. But yeah, blush and I have it here. I was gonna tell you, blush. Am I saying correctly?
Yeah, no, it's okay.
But I wanted to say your last name again because I was trying to remember how Brezhnik.
No, the Z in my surname in last name is just Z. Brezhnik. Yeah. But the Z in my name, like it's J, not Z.
Flash.
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah.
I was saying, oh my God, I.
But like usually the system when I'm applying to something, if I put the J in, they just crash. Like everything just crashes.
Actually I tried when I was typing it in my. I usually like type and I press the key. So it appears, but it doesn't appear in my, because in the other ones the U like for example for Sweden or Denmark, they have the U with the points. Mm-hmm. Here it as I had to copy paste it from the records to actually have it. And Margarita, oh my God, I'm gonna Filmova.
Filimonova. That was close enough. It's good. Let's just give it. Yeah.
I was like I'm gonna pronounce their last names, but now it's the time. I was like I was saying Margarita and I was like, okay, Blash, but I said correctly, Blash.
Yes.
And Brezhnik.
Yes. Now it's okay.
And Margarita Filmova.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. Getting there. It was really nice having you, and thank you for being at Tech, and hope you continue having a really nice experience here. And to everyone that's hearing us, you're in Global Connection, you're listening in Tech Songs Radio, y nos vemos hasta la próxima. Adiós.
Hasta aquí Global Connection. Te esperamos en nuestra siguiente emisión, el miércoles a las 4 de la tarde, solo en Tech Sounds Radio 94.9 FM.